Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this review, I am very happy to be showing you the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z NAPPA figure. This is one we've been waiting for many years, ever since they showed that very first NAPPA that isn't this version. But then they showed this one and we're like, yes, we're getting Armor NAPPA. And here it is. And it's interesting because this comes at kind of a strange time in the SH Figuarts line where they're starting to lose a little bit of what they're known for in the quality control region and then just the putting the effort into the figure region. This last Vegeta was kind of a dud. People are kind of worried, how's NAPPA going to turn out? Well, I can tell you now, he's a lot better than Vegeta. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 7 inches, almost exactly, which makes him just about 18 centimeters. Now, here's the thing. We have to talk about this, guys. It's kind of a big deal. NAPPA is supposed to be fairly large, like very, very tall. And he is big. He's a bigger figure, but let's compare him to the recent Vegeta, which is the one that they kept displaying him with. It's just not even close to accurate. We know this Vegeta's a little bit too tall, but mix that with NAPPA being too short, and it's not even close. They should be more like that in size. That's pretty much accurate. I know that's a perspective thing, but that's my point. I'm trying to show you he should be a lot taller, relatively speaking. So it's a bit disappointing. I know we've had that issue before with Cell being particularly undersized. Broly's pretty darn close, though, so I was hoping they would do the same thing with this guy. I don't know. Android 16's a little bit small. I think it's okay. It's not a deal breaker for me because he still does have that stature. It's just not as accentuated as it probably should be, so that's not a big deal. Other interesting thing to note, they keep showing NAPPA with Vegeta, so I'll do that again. Here's the thing. This color scheme for NAPPA is from when Vegeta was wearing the green and orange outfit. When Vegeta was wearing this outfit, NAPPA's outfit almost matched this one. It was a slightly different yellow and different blue, but it wasn't the brown and almost black coloring. So it's kind of strange, too, that they chose to make NAPPA in the... I can't think of the name now, but in that weird color scheme of Vegeta, that early episode or whatever you want to call it. So maybe, I don't know if you guys know, maybe this is how he always looked in the manga or something like that. You can let me know. But this color scheme does match the anime from those early episodes, so it's a little strange. It looks awesome, but it's a little strange. Okay, so let's talk about the paint before we get into anything else. It's kind of important because Vegeta was lacking harshly in the paint department. Now, NAPPA here, he kind of lucked out because he needed the extra paintwork on here, which does save it. Vegeta's with just solid white here. He's got that really nice flat black, which looks awesome. It looks really, really good. The black down here, a different kind of black, which kind of looks good, kind of not. I'm thinking since it's from an anime, they kind of should match, but to kind of sell the aesthetic, but it looks good. It's okay. The paintwork, though, is not the cleanest. For the painted white lines on the gloves and on the boots, it's a little mucky. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. And then for the skin tones, it's molded in a nice color, and it has some nice shading. They did a really good job with the shading. You generally want to shade skin tones with like a slightly warmer but darker color, and they did a good job. It's almost got an orange hue to it, which I think is okay. Looks pretty nice, and I do really like the musculature on this guy. It's very well done, so that's awesome. The only real issue I have with the skin tones is that the head is made out of a different plastic, and you guys will probably see that a little bit more when we look at the accessories. But it's kind of shiny and just the tiniest bit, like maybe 5% translucent. So it's almost acting like real skin, but to too much of a degree. So it's a little weird looking compared to the rest of the skin, but it still looks okay. And there still is shading throughout the head, so that's good. Okay, so let's move on to the accessories. We have a total of 4 different heads. We have the head that comes on him in the package, which is just the standard bald head. Then we have basically the same head with the scouter built onto it permanently. Very nicely done. Great head. Love it. We have also a yelling head with him looking forward, and then a yelling head with him looking off to the side. Both of those are also done very nicely. They painted the mouths very cleanly, and the overall look of his head's just, it's really, really good. So I like that a whole bunch. We do have some different hands, not a ton. We have the 2 fist hands that come on him in the package. We have 1 style pose hand for a particular scene. Then we have 2, I guess you could just call them martial arts hands. And then we have 2 of the karate chop style hands. The shading on them is nice. The paintwork on all the hands, it's a little iffy with the white paint. It's not great. And then lastly, we have a display stand and an energy effect. But the energy effect is just really an awful color. It's a terribly dark and dingy yellow. Well, it's clear with yellow paint, and it just doesn't look great. The display stand's a standard display stand, and it's strictly for the energy effect in this case. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So we have the very dingy yellow. Then if you look at the packaging, they show it as being a very nice bright yellow, which is what it should be. This yellow does not make me think of energy. That looks terrible. It's way too dark. Very, very ugly. Which is just kind of disheartening because we try, or want, we don't try, we can't do anything about it. We want energy effects with all of our DBZ figures, or DB Super, or whatever it is, whatever the case may be. And when they finally do give us one, man, it's a really ugly, turdy, lousy color. Very disappointing. Okay, so now let's talk about the articulation. We pretty much covered everything else in pretty good detail. The cool thing about this guy is he has one point of his articulation is better than any other DBZ figure that I can think of. So probably better than any of them. I'm probably not wrong in this memory. And then one other thing about it is also very nice. But then we have one thing that's terrible. So let's go ahead and get started. The head. This is one thing that's nice. It's not the super nice thing, but it is pretty fantastic. Look at that. There's no ball hinge. This is fantastic. It's a double ball peg. And they even did a nice little offset, which is kind of cool the way it works. So you have your double ball peg in there, so you can just pose it however you want without having to worry about screwing around with that ball hinge that they keep using. And it looks great. You do get a gap if you go to certain positions, but you can avoid that because the neck is articulated also. But you get really good range out of that neck, and you don't have to mess around with it. It's so much better than a ball hinge. I love that they did that. And then this big old neck of his is also articulated, but it's a little tricky to kind of move around, but you can do it. So if you need him to lean forward even more, you can just do that. If you need it to lean back a little more, I don't know how much farther back it'll go, but it will go side to side. It just takes a little bit of force and a little bit of maneuvering, but you can definitely pose it very nicely. So I love that. Great job for the neck and the head overall. Shoulder pads are on the same kind of hinge as Vegeta, which still isn't great. It's not a great situation. And then for the shoulders, we're on a butterfly, which I think is actually connected via a ball peg rather than an actual hinge. But the butterfly does move. It does help a little bit, I guess. And then the arm is connected to the butterfly. Hopefully you can see in there with a ball peg. So it moves around on that, which is normally fine. That's how most of these figures are. But you still don't get very much range in the shoulders so far. Now here's where it gets even worse. This shoulder piece is a cap that hides the ball hinge, which is inside. Hopefully, yeah, you can see that. So the ball hinge is in there. But the cap is way bigger than the ball hinge. So you can't move the arm around because that cap limits it completely. They should have just done it like Broly and made the shoulder, especially since it was hidden by this. This should be all one piece. It should be the ball hinge, a nice big ball hinge, so you can move the arm. As it is, you can't really move the arm at all. It's essentially just a swivel, which is very, very unfortunate. I don't like that. It's not well executed at all. Very disappointing. We do have our bicep swivel, so that's fine. Double jointed elbow, very limited. Just better than 90 degrees. But it doesn't look too bad, so I'll give them that. So that's okay, I guess. For the wrists, let's just do this side. For the wrists, we have our ball hinge, but it's a bigger ball hinge, so that's pretty good. You get decent range out of that, and they swap out pretty easily. Be careful, though, because this is all painted, so you're going to be rubbing painted parts against each other. For the diaphragm joint, I think it's just a double ball peg. I'm not sure. I can't see inside, but it does just move freely side to side like this, so that's good. It does rotate some, but it's not spherical, so it doesn't really want to, but it can. You can lean them forward a little bit, and then you can lean them back a fair bit too, so it's not too bad. Doesn't have the most range, but he's pretty bulky, so that's okay. And then for the lower torso, it's a ball peg technically, but you're really just going to get a swivel out of it. It doesn't really want to go anywhere, and it can't, as far as I can tell, neither of these parts can extend upward to increase the range, so it's fairly limited. The tail is fixed in place this time, so that's pretty good. It's not going to pop off like Vegeta's. We do have single hinged flaps for his armor, which they work well enough. And then if you rotate him around, the tail and the crotch and everything is going to go all together, so that's okay, I guess. For the hips, it's a little weird that they did this. We do have the hinged ball peg that we normally have, so you can drop the leg down, but then we only have a ball peg and I think another ball peg. So it kind of gives you this weird offsetting joint, which, I mean, it's not bad. You can get the leg out far enough forward. That's okay. Going out to the side, yeah, I guess it's not bad. I thought it was going to be a little more limited, but that is not too bad at all. That'll work. Yeah, that's good. I take it back. At first I thought it was going to be more limited, but it's okay. It's not great. You can see the leg kind of has to go out to the side in order to come forward, but it's not bad. And then you do get your thigh swivel out of that, so I'll give it to him. That one's okay. For the knee joint, you get decent range, and it's not terribly ugly. I think they could probably refine it a little bit, but that looks pretty good, so I like that. And then here's the thing, guys. This is the best part of the figure. I don't understand it. He's one of the bulkiest DBZ figures, or DB figures in general, from Figuarts, and they gave him the best ankles out of all of them. Maybe Trunks's, the one Trunks that had the ball hinge ankles, but I don't remember his working this well. Watch this. Look at that ankle rocker. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. We don't ever get that. We keep getting those lousy ball pegs. Here, just for reference, let's look at Vegeta real quick. Look at his ankle rocker. Oh, that's right. It doesn't have one. It just moves around in that crappy system of a ball peg. Terrible. Okay, let's go back to the good one now. This ankle rocker is just phenomenal. No issue at all. It's just, what it is, it's kind of like an extended ball hinge. So the foot doesn't lean too far forward, but you do have a toe hinge to make up for it. It's not the best toe hinge because this part sticks out, but it still does function. And then you can also lean the foot back. So you're not going to have any trouble posing this guy's feet. You could put him in almost the splits, and his feet will still be flat on the table. So nice. We need those type of ankles in all of the figures going forward. Such a good design. It's really unfortunate that it's offset by that terrible shoulder design. So yeah, this guy definitely does lack in a few areas. The shoulders are awful. The rest of it's pretty good articulation-wise. I can give it to him because he's bulky. And, you know, he is painted. He's got the shading throughout the skin, and he looks pretty solid. So it's not perfect in some places. He should be bigger. But really the only serious issue is those lousy shoulders. Otherwise, he's pretty darn... Oh, and this turd right here. Forgot about that. But otherwise, he's pretty good. Too small, but pretty darn good. I definitely recommend him. He's a great addition. Great aesthetically speaking, too. I just really like the way he looks. It's very screen accurate. Other than, he seems like maybe he's a little too wide. Like, I feel like he was taller and slightly more slender in the anime, at least. Anyway, I like it, guys. I think you will, too. So go ahead and get one. I think you'll enjoy it, and go ahead and have some fun playing with it. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and in the meantime, keep collecting.